Hi, happy Saturday evening. This is for all the singles out there. Some of you might not like what I'm going to say. I'm okay with that. Do not lower your standards just because you're lonely, okay? We all have our standards, the bar, our rules, our guidelines, our boundaries. If you don't, write them down. Sit down sometime and just figure out what you want, what you don't want, what you're willing to do, not willing to do, if you have kids, what you're willing to have your kids subjected to. Think about it. Write it down if you have to. I have been single a long time. I'm not going to go into how many years, over 10. And I'm okay with that. I am really okay with that because I have standards. I'm not lowering those for anybody. I don't care how many Friday nights, Saturday nights, holidays, whatever I spend alone. I'm okay with that because I have to live with myself. Everybody's different. You have to do what works for you, okay? Get a piece of paper and ask yourself, are you willing to date somebody or be involved with somebody that has kids? They're still close with their ex, or maybe they have several baby mama or baby daddies or whatever the case may be. If you're 20, 30, 40 years old, even 50 years old, those are issues. Figure it out. Ask yourself, are finances, do they need to be financially stable? What if they have addictions? That could be anything from porn, gambling, shopping, drugs, alcohol, weed, cigarettes. What do you think about this? Because these are real issues in the dating world. What if they have a physical limitation? What if they're blind? What if they stutter? What if they have one leg missing? They use a prosthesis. They're in a wheelchair. What if they have mental health disorders? These are all things you really need to ask yourself. What if they have a criminal history? Think about it. Not only how this is going to affect you, if you have kids, this could affect your kids. Think about it, write it down. Now, I will share with you, my standards, and they are, I don't know, my friends and I are all alike. I have some single friends, and we're all pretty much male and female, and we're all kind of pretty much alike. Which is why we're friends, but nobody's going to have a criminal history. Nobody's going to do drugs. Nobody's going to have serious mental health issues. I mean, people have anxiety, that's kind of no big deal, but serious mental health issues. And I will tell you why I am this way. Many years ago, I met a professional person, and I'm keeping this very general. He was a professional, very educated, one of the top universities, a couple of years older than me. Everything's good. Life was fine. Met him, started dating, everything's fine. We ended up moving in together. Okay. Now this is as an adult. My kid is grown, so that's not an issue. This gentleman lied to me and hid his mental health disorder for 6 months. The only way I found out, the phone rang and he said, "Hey, would you grab the phone?" And I did, and they were rescheduling an appointment. Okay. And I found out he was compliant with his meds. He was bipolar. He was taking his meds. He was going to his appointments. All was well. And I was really supportive of that. I told him I'm proud of him. You should have told me. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So now we know. He sighed a big sigh of relief. And then one day, one of his old cronies called. Let's go have a beer. Well, he wasn't a drinker, but he went out with his friend. From that point on, he was no longer compliant with his meds. he started self-medicating. Instead of taking his bipolar meds, he started self-medicating with marijuana. And I don't mean a joint now and then. I mean a bag now and then. I mean continual. And I am adamantly opposed to this. But that's what he was doing. And within 6 weeks, he went from marijuana to cocaine. Then he went from cocaine to meth and to heroin. Our relationship did not last. He left me and at the time he was in his 50s, he left me for a girl that just turned 18. Yeah. I was worried about her. I was sincerely worried about her. That child had no idea what she was getting herself into, but it wasn't my problem. But that ended the relationship. I had broken bones during that relationship because he would have horrific outbursts, very violent, very paranoid. It wasn't a good time. I survived. Now, and I'm single. I know a lot of really nice guys, but if they have a history of serious mental health issues, no. We can be friends. We can talk on the phone and say, hey, how you doing? But that's it. If they have a history of alcoholism, drug addiction, weed, a criminal history, no, not going to happen. Not for me. I accept people for who they are. That's them. And that's fine. If they're happy with their life, that's on them. But I don't want that in my life. And I know some really nice people who have histories of addictions, and we're friends, but that's it. I have a really nice friend who has been sober for a few years, and I'm really proud of them. That's great. But no, not for me. It might hurt some people's feelings to hear me say these things. I'm just being honest. I have always had standards, high standards, and I'm not going to lower those. I don't care if I'm, single forever. I'm not lowering my standards. I will wait for somebody to come along who fits the bill. I have a really close friend who, she's single, and guys are pressuring her. She's dating, and, guys are always pressuring her, to have sex. And she has morals and standards, and, they'll go out once, and they're starting in, and she just, and I tell her, you have to do what's right for you. Do not lower your standards, And if they like you, it will show. If they disrespect you, that tells you right there. But sweetheart, don't lower your standards for anybody. You stand tall in your truth, in who you are, what you want. Maybe you want somebody that shares your religious beliefs. Don't change that. If that's important to you, you stand by that. Maybe you want somebody with a certain level of education. That's great. You do what works for you, but don't lower your standards because you're lonely. My one friend and I, we joke all the time that the dating pool can be a cesspool because there's a lot of people out there that are kind of yucky people, and they will lie, cheat, steal, scam, the whole bit. Stay away. Personally, you could not pay me to do a dating app kind of thing. No way. And the scammers, and I think just about anybody who sees this will have had somebody reach out to them on social media, and you can tell, they're filling out a dating profile trying to steal your information. And it's just no. Report, block, and delete. Nope, not going down that path. I am not a fan of dating apps. Some people are. I have friends that are, that they think they're great. Good for you. I'm staying away. Not for me. Don't lower your standards. It can be frustrating being alone on weekends, but do something with your friends. Find a new hobby, enjoy movies, read a book, take a walk, go to the gym. You can go out to dinner by yourself. That's okay. You can go to a movie by yourself. You can go to an art exhibit by yourself. It's fine. But don't lower your standards, because that will bite you in the butt. You will never be happy if you lower your standards. You're always going to be thinking, shoulda, woulda. You're going to be trying to change them. Don't do that. If you're dating somebody, accept them for who they are, as they are. This is not a do-it-yourself project. They are not a fixer-upper. Accept them for who they are. You want them to accept you for who you are. Accept your kids for who they are. It's a two-way street. So it's not a project. Know who you're dating. Maintain your boundaries. Maintain your standards. Good luck.